Three, two, one. Welcome to the Coffin Table podcast, where we breathe new life into films thought dead and buried. I'm fresh-eyed film fan Anita Dirtnap.
And I am film historian, horror host, and undead aficionado, Sir Coffin. I've dug up the best and worst and most bizarre that Hollywood has to offer, so grab enough coffee to wake up the dead. This is the Coffin Table Podcast.
All right, so you showed me a fishy film. I figured I'd show you a fishy film. Man, did I pick a something.
A rotten fishy film, if you have to be blunt about it. This was atrocious.
Listen.
And that's just me being nice about it. Let's get that out of the way now.
Listen. This was very Creature of the Black Lagoon-esque. Like, if you just boil it down to the nitty-gritty, it was very much adjacent to what Creature of the Black Lagoon was.
It most certainly was not. This was.
Okay. Come on.
No. Actually, now that I'm just thinking about it more, you're kind of right. It kind of was.
Yeah. I was watching this, and about halfway through, I'm like, there's parallels here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay, so one of the things that that we talked about with Creature from the Black Lagoon is, hey, if you're gonna do another creature film, do something new with it, make something different about it, give me something unique, and I even mentioned, give us a female creature. And the irony is, the very next film that you show me involves killer mermaids.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought that was actually kind of poetic. And had you seen this one beforehand? Because I never even knew this was a movie. This came out a few months ago at most.
Yeah, this was this year movie. 2024 movie. I've never seen it, never heard of it. I saw it, and I'm like, you know what? We're doing a fish thing. Why not? And I had a feeling about this movie, and I think I was right about this movie. I hadn't looked into it. I didn't see any trailers. I went in completely blind. And the first thing that I thought of when I saw this movie was, oh, this is going to be atrocious.
Oh, you mean when it opens with the woman running out to the very clearly ice cold beach and then screams, and it's stock voice over generic scream number 2.
Yeah.
On repeat.
Yeah.
They do the exact same stock scream 3 times in a row.
And it doesn't even match with her facial expression.
Mm-hmm.
She's sitting. Okay, so it's basically the movie starts out with this very pregnant woman rushing out to the ocean, sits down in the water, and starts screaming. And when you scream, your face kind of crinkles up.
Yeah.
Her face was completely neutral. She was just hanging her mouth open. So.
Yeah, just imagine the face that I'm making as I'm making this noise. That's what her face was doing.
Yeah.
It wasn't a pregnancy. Oh God! It was just a mild ouchies kind of thing.
Yeah. It was very much not the facial expression you'd be making if you're screaming in pain.
Mm-hmm.
And then we cut to the title screen, and then we cut to this older man driving around town with very happy music.
Oh yeah, which has no bearing whatsoever to the rest of the plot. Doesn't have anything to do with anything. It's just there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just there. It exists.
Mm-hmm.
This really happy, like, it seems like, honestly, the music sounds like, hey, we're a generic band from the early 2000s that you can't get copyright strike for. Hey, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's very much
Mm-hmm.
you can't.
They do something similar later on because it's like, hey, we got the band together. That's awesome. All right, let's sing. And they immediately start doing ship shanties. Like, what?
What's funny is considering the context of this movie, they end it on the same song of the very happy tune from the beginning.
Yeah. Well, it's happy for some people. I was happy. I was happy the movie was.
All right, so um, not gonna try to not give too many spoilers, but honestly, this is kind of the movie where it's gonna matter.
uh, that's
Basically,
fair.
the synopsis of this movie is that a marine biologist is called down to this small oceanside town, um, oceanside harbor, ocean, sort of, kind of. Anyways, um, it there's been these strange happenings going on. You know, fishermen are being attacked, and they're trying to figure out why all the fish are gone too, and you know all these things that are happening at the same time, but don't really seem to have any correlation at the moment. They're
Mm-hmm.
just happening side by side. So the marine biologist is called down and is sent on this investigation of what's going on with the fish, why are these people getting attacked, what could be attacking them, things like that.
Mm-hmm. And
And
it's very much a situation of um uh and I actually thought they did pretty well with it. I'll give the movie this at the very least. I thought the strangeness of events does make sense why no one's connecting the dots yet.
mm-hmm.
Like, oh, hey, all the fish have just dried. Like, this is a fishing town, and all the fish have just disappeared in this area. Like, hey, I called the town over. They're still doing fine. I called the other town. They're still doing fine. It's just us. Like, this is bizarre. There's something going on here. And then they have um, some people that just outright go missing off the ship. And they're going, clearly this is what the heck's going on with this. They can't figure it out, and there's no logical reason why you would connect the two disparate plot lines together if you don't know that there's a monster loose, an
No.
amphibious monster loose.
And
So, like, I'll give the film that. It actually felt like they were sitting here scratching their heads, going, "Okay, I don't get it. I genuinely have no idea."
and in fact, they even show a shot where the sheriff is looking out towards the water and you can see an oil rig in the background. I'm like, "Oh, are they going to try to blame this on the oil rigging?" sort of thing, you
Yeah,
know? So they're throwing herrings in there.
mm-hmm. And they never do. They never do. I'll give them that. They actually don't follow through with that. So, okay, all right, not bad, not bad. I'm not gonna. I will tell you right now, Anita, I am not going to sing this film too many praises. This will be the first bit of praising I will give it. I thought that it was it was very badly acted, but it felt natural to not pin everything together right off the.
Yeah,
Like there were no serious leaps in logic up until past the halfway point, and then they started having to just for plot contrivances.
yeah.
But like the initial bit of it, uh, like it made a lot of sense why they didn't make this connection.
Yeah, because like this isn't something that normally happens where your fish just completely dry up in the one area. And
Mm-hmm.
and you're not going what are you going to suggest that, you know, like a shark or something's going to do that? No, a shark doesn't do that. That's not a normal thing that happens. So,
Yeah.
yeah, no, until the plot called for it, they did not start jumping to conclusions, which I liked. because
Yeah.
you get so many
And then,
you get so many movies of this type, like of this indie, almost like not huge budget kind of movie, where they will start jumping to conclusions right away.
yes, no, no. I've seen it 1,000 times. Specifically, my 1950s, 1960s B movies. They do that. They
Mm-hmm.
genuinely do that. There's infamously the giant claw. It's a giant intergalactic black hole vulture kaiju monster thing. And throughout the entire movie, they keep referring to it as a battleship, as if it being in the air makes it a battleship somehow. And like they keep referencing this, and it makes absolutely no sense. And like that's probably what this is. Like that's the kind of extreme that we're talking about, like where they'll go, "Oh, it's like a giant battleship." In what way? How does that make sense? This film didn't do that, and I'm very thankful for that
Mm-hmm.
because again, I've seen it where movies will pull just some random analogy out of their bum, and suddenly that's what everybody runs with from then on.
Yeah, no, they thankfully did not do this. But then we get to the point where they need to start furthering the plot, and then I think it just plummets from there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It sadly does. Like,
As soon
like,
as they introduce what is causing all of this, downhill, just nosedive.
yeah, yeah, and like, whenever they first reference what it is, which it's they say that they're mermaids. They are not mermaids, but they kind of make a passing reference to it being mermaid related,
Yeah.
and they you know whenever they first bring up the idea that it's a mermaid, they actually bring it up in jest. They are making fun of. It's like, well, what could do this? Oh, well, the smartest thing I've ever seen in my life: mermaids. They swim up and they pool in these areas, and then every 10 years they'll spawn like salmon. Then da 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 blah 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 blah. Like that's the referencing that they make, but you can clearly tell that they're saying it as a way to make fun of the situation, not to actually go, "Oh, of course it's mermaid." You
Well,
know.
the funny thing is the person who says that it's mermaids is actually one of the mermaids.
Yeah, yeah, and so it's like they tell you right off well, not right off the bat, but they tell you fairly early on what's going on, but they do it with their tongue in their cheek, and you immediately go, "Oh, ha ha, you're very funny." No, seriously, what is this? And then you find out, no, the joke was actually real.
Yeah, no, she was telling the truth. It was just that it was too early in the movie for it to be believable.
Yeah, yeah. Like, and they mention, oh, maybe it's an octopus or a squid because those are super smart. Well, yeah, they're super smart, but they don't make these kinds of injury. Okay, well, maybe it's a shark. They reference shark like 2 or 3 times, and the marine biologist guy goes, "Yeah, except we found scales, and sharks don't have scales." Oh, and so they are actually trying to do a little bit of detective work to try
Mm-hmm.
and figure this out. They're not doing a very good job at it, but there's at least an attempt, and I can applaud it for at least attempting before, again, jumping to conclusions and going, "Ah, yes, mermaids." You
And
know,
even when the answer is right there, they don't just accept it right away. Like the main character is completely skeptical up until the very last second. And then he starts realizing that, oh, this is actually real.
yeah,
And by then it's too late.
yeah, yeah. No, it really is. Um, but again, I enjoyed that very that specifically that aspect of it. I enjoyed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's not like slap in your face. Oh, it's this and it's this and it's this and this is why I'm right. And it takes the time to do trial and error. It takes the time to build up the suspension that's supposed to be there. Um, you get a few more deaths that happen, and then suddenly the main guy is like, oh. So
Yeah.
I mean, it has that going for it at least. Can
Yeah,
we?
no, and
Sorry, go ahead.
uh,
Go ahead.
no, you first.
Well, no, I was gonna segue into. Can we talk about, because we brought it up before? Can we talk about the mermaids themselves for a minute?
You mean the Slee Stack? I'm probably the only one who gets that reference. Points if you get that reference, folks. Um, yeah, no, these things were the okay. So we get how many times do we physically see the monster in this movie? Like three
Three
times, maybe.
times. Three times. Once is a very blurry, very bad CGI'd full body of the monster chasing someone on the beach.
Yeah,
Once is when the monster goes and kills one of the fishermen.
and then the final time at the very end of the movie.
The final time at the very end of the movie with the very fucking weird sex scene.
Yeah, the spoiler alert to anyone who needs it. There is a lot of the whole. Okay, so the whole thing is again they make the salmon allegory to it, where the mermaids need to spawn, and again they reference them as mermaids. They are not.
These
These
are lizard
are
people. They're lizard people.
they might as well be because they keep referring to them as fish, or at the very least aquatic. But no, when you see this thing, they there are no males, and so they are they they're reptile people. Like the worst part is the badly CGI monster that you see kind of blurry in the background of the scene where it first shows up looks nothing like what the finished product looks like whenever it's actually on a physical person's face.
It really
Like
doesn't.
when it's off in the distance, it's kind of like grayish greenish and kind of running really awkwardly. And if you
It's doing that run where they're windmilling their hands.
and yeah, yeah, like doing that motion, and on top of that, like you look at this thing like whenever because it's only like two or three frames almost that you see this thing motioning, but like the area around it has that weird CGI blur effect so that it can blur the CGI into the scene better,
Mm-hmm.
and it just looks awkward and it's all shadowed out, but you can kind of sort of see color. And then whenever you actually see the creature, it's got red skin with pearl or opal-esque scales,
Yes.
and so it looks absolutely nothing like the actual creature, unless they're going to tell us that each and every single one of these lizard folk mermaid people have a different color palette to them, in which case why not tell us that in the movie? And I have to say this because literally, folks, moments before we logged on to start the podcast, I actually got across my feed that they're making a Bad Fish 2.
Which is so funny because at the end of the Bad Fish 1, they say in a very ominous text, to be continued, dot, dot, dot.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. And so apparently they're already working on Bad Fish 2. So unless we see more of these things in the sequel, and they really are just multicolored, why did we even have this scene with a crappy CGI monster?
Well, what I
Like,
want
hey,
to. What I have issue with is, the crappy CGI monster is greenish and gray and everything, blends in the water.
mm-hmm.
Which you would think is optimal for a predator animal. However, the one that we see at the end of the movie, like you said, is red skin with like a pearl white scales covering it. That does not blend in. You would see that a mile away in the water.
Right. And let's go back into the salmon analogy for a moment. Do you know why salmon turn red with the green head?
No.
Because they're male. The
Uh,
males are the ones that change color. The females don't.
oh.
Yeah. So what's the logic here? What is the thought process going on in this particular instance? Are you trying to say that the mermaids are like salmon? In which case, I think you got your biology horribly wrong. Or it's just a continuity error that nobody caught until they released the film.
If they've been caught it then.
Like two things can be true at the same time. Not gonna knock that at all. It's
Yeah.
very possible that two things could be true at the same time.
Yeah.
But I'm funny.
Also, the whole lore behind these quote unquote mermaids is kind of fucked up. So, typical mermaids, half human, half fish, live in the water. You get some that are sirens, or you get some that are harmless, depending on the lore that you're reading. Um, these ones in particular can either be in their fish form, lizard, or human form. And every 10 years, one of the girls is either chosen or something to stay on land, but in order to do that, she has to mate with a human male. And as soon as
Mm-hmm.
she accepts him as her mate, she is allowed to stay on land.
Yeah. Doesn't make a
What?
lot of sense.
What?
Like, how does that work? Are we saying that these things are magical? Like, what is going on here?
I just. And then through this process, they get pregnant, they have the child. The child gets yeeted back into the ocean to fend for itself, apparently. And then it just continues on. This
Mm-hmm.
this this cycle of weirdness.
Very much so.
and I'm going to
Very, very.
and I'm going to say it. She fucking date raped him.
Yeah, no, she really did. Really did. So the 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 whole thing is that she has to find a mate. She doesn't want to use the fisherman because she just is repulsed by them.
Or something. They don't
And
really even explain why. That she just says that she's not going to date a fisherman.
yeah, and at first it just seems like personal preference because you don't, because they say that she's moved back. She's back home. She hasn't been home in a while, etc. And so, like, at first, it just seems like it's personal preferencing, and then, uh, then it, as we get a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more information, it just becomes odd, to say the least. And like you said, at the very end, she spits in his drink, which apparently her spit is green, and it knocks him out.
It's a
Or
drug. Yeah,
like
it's a drugging
yeah,
effect.
yeah, and he plops over, ka-thump, and uh, then oh hey, it's gonna be fine. You're okay. And she goes, okay, well here you go. I'm gonna leave you on the beach now. La la la. I gotta go get me something. I gotta go get dinner. And then promptly eats somebody. And then while she's eating somebody, he comes back. He comes to and is going WTF. Gets told to leave town by the local sheriff, whose name is Skip,
Skip.
which is funny to me. Sheriff Skip. Um, but gets told to leave town and uh, then um, goes to leave town, fails miserably, gets got again, this time by the whole collective, and uh, then the movie ends with non-consensual fish person horizontal mama.
Yeah. 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 I mean, the They make it sound like during the movie, like at the end, near the end there, it's they're revealing who they are basically, and that there's
Mhm.
a couple people who are human who are in on this.
Yeah.
And I don't know, either it's Stockholm syndrome or these people actually believe in like helping these fish people to stay on dry land or something. But the main character throughout the whole thing was against it. Like he did not want any of this. He knew what was going to happen and he fought against it until they drugged him. And then and even then like you can see that he's uncomfortable after he's like starting to come to and everything. And then he's just drugged up for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, the last 5 minutes of the movie is him strapped to what looks like a gurney. I'll be honest, and
It was a wheelchair because they ate his legs off.
yeah, that's right, that's right. Yeah, in the throes of her passion, the other mermaids chew his legs off, and now he's just stuck in like the attic of the frickin' uh, tavern. Go and he's she makes sure he has a window seat, but he can't do anything else. Like he can't even move the wheelchair because she has him tied, his hands tied, so he can't even like scoot or anything.
Yeah.
And like it's terrible.
It's
Like
fucked up.
yeah, like don't get me wrong, bad stuff has happened to women all throughout movies.
Oh yeah.
Uh, since the dawn of movies,
And
it
that's
does
just as fucked up. I mean,
right.
it's
No, and I'm not trying to justify it by any
no, no,
means, but
no.
it is, at the very least, we can officially say that there's equal representation now.
It's just
So, you know, you know, you know. Mm.
uh, I don't know. This whole movie like and okay, so I know right now it doesn't sound like there's very many parallels between this movie and The Creature of the Black Lagoon. However, you have to kind of think about it as like a bare bones skeleton type of plot for this. You have the scientist who's coming to investigate this strange happening. And in Creature of the Black Lagoon, you have these scientists who are coming to figure out these strange happenings. You have a fish like humanoid who falls in love with main character.
Mm-hmm.
There's death scenes that happen because of these fish people. So I mean like there's some parallels to these things and I wouldn't be surprised like if we sat the director down and went like, "Hey, did you like get inspiration from this movie?" I wouldn't be surprised if they said, "Yeah, this was like my version of that story."
Yeah, because okay, so this is if you were to make an authentic Creature from Black Lagoon reference,
Mm-hmm.
then this zigs in every way that Creature zags.
Yeah.
It is a colder climate. It is in civilization. It is a female monster infatuated with a male human. Uh, it is, um, you do have your boat attack scenes, but unlike a very nice, very, very well shot, you know, monster attack, it's always okay. You get a bit of a hand or a bit of a roar, or at one point we have a flashback that's animated for some reason.
Yeah, okay. So we're going to talk about that.
Yeah, we will. We will. Give me, but like, oh man, that was a bizarre one. But like the people that go, oh no, I know what this is. This is this thing, and so it zigs in every way that creatures zag. Where the Gillman zags, this thing goes the opposite direction.
Yeah.
It is trying to do something different, and it's not too shabby on the plot points. In that regard, it is obviously doing its own thing. Applaud it for that. It's just a little bizarre.
Another difference is that whereas Creature, um, everything that the Gill man did was technically in self defense. This is not that.
Yeah, no, no, this is an active hunter. This is
Mm,
pretty much that. So there are obvious parallels, but most of it is perpendicular.
yeah,
Um, and still coming off as a creature movie, a guild man,
yeah.
to me at least, and obviously to you as well. But yeah, yeah. You want to talk about the weird flashback sequence?
Okay, so here I am. I'm sitting here. I'm watching this movie, and already, like, I'm just weirded out by the story. Uh, and we get to this one scene where main character is like, "Oh, there's the survivor of this attack that happened like 10 years ago or something," and
Mhm.
he's like, "I want to talk to him." So he goes to talk to him, and the guy's like, "I'll tell you the story," um, and it starts doing the transition to a flashback, and it's just this really weird flashcard kind of
Yeah, no,
animated section.
it genuinely it felt like a flash animation from like the late 90s, early 2000s. And like I kept expecting badger, 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 mushroom, mushroom kind of stuff to start popping. And like obviously obviously subjective because like he's talking about how the men were yanked right off the boat and he was in the wheelhouse so he didn't actually see anything, but it shows the guys and they're drinking beer and fishing and this giant hand comes up, grabs a guy and pulls him under, and you never see anything that's above a traditional human size. So what was the point of this? Why was this a scene? What was this? Was it really that difficult to put this old man out on a boat and actually have them recreate the scene?
Well, what's funny too is this probably blew their entire budget.
Yeah,
Animation, no matter how the animation look, is still animation, and that shit is expensive.
mhm. No, and I can understand that. I between this and the actual makeup effect for the final creature, that's where their budget went because they couldn't hire actors.
It was
I didn't see an actor in the movie.
it wasn't even a makeup effect. It was CGI.
No, no, no. I'm talking about whenever they actually get the full. Wait, was it really?
It
I thought
looked
it was.
like
I
it
thought it
looked
was a physical makeup with cowl and everything that they put CGI over because the whole thing is that she's like transitioning from one to the other while she's in the throes of passion.
I
Um,
I think her hands were practical. I think her face was CGI.
really?
I
Because if
think
that's the
so.
case, that was the best CGI in the film. Because it looked like it was a mask, a makeup mask, like the stuff you watch in the show Face Off. If
Mhm.
you've ever seen the TV show Face Off, where they get the makeup people to compete in competition,
Yeah.
um, it looked like one of their masks. It's just they put like a CGI filter over it because like it moved weird. Like it very clearly is moving weird because of X, Y, and Z. Also, the glowing eyeballs. I don't understand why it was glowing eyeballs. It was glowing eyeballs. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm
I
not too
want to
sure.
say that it was real, I really want to say it was a real cowl, like it was a real bit of makeup effect, and then they put a CGI filter over it. Obviously, don't hold me to that because I didn't even know this film existed until this week. Whenever you said, "Hey, got a movie," and I went, "Oh no," and then I watched it and went, "Oh no."
Yeah, no, I don't know.
Like
It was
again,
just the way,
the stock footage scream killed me. I was done,
and that was in
and
the
that.
first 2 seconds.
Uh-huh. And then I kept going. I went, oh no. And then they started talking. And I went, where are the actors? Because I'm not seeing any.
Yeah. Yeah. It was just
It,
oh,
it was rough,
it
buddy.
was
It was
rough.
rough. Um, and I've seen terrible acting. I've seen really terrible acting. This was on par with all of that terrible acting. In fact, I think I know exactly what film I need to show you next, but I'm going to hold off because I want to finish talking about this one first. So our main character is a marine biologist named Burton. Was it Burton or Benton? It's Burton, isn't it?
Burton, I think.
And he's played by a guy named Johnny Lee, and he's an okay actor. I'll give him this. He's okay. He's not going to be bringing home any awards, but he was all right. Um, and like they try to make him a little more rounded by mentioning that he's a recovering alcoholic, but it doesn't actually have anything to do with the plot.
Also, he's not
Um,
recovering.
yeah, oh yeah, no, he's also very clearly not recovering because he goes to the bar like what 3 or 4 times in the whole movie and keeps
Well,
getting
that
drunk.
and like the first fucking scene that he's in, he grabs a flask and he starts drinking on the job. Like,
Uh, so like they're trying to do something with him. I'm just not sure what they're trying to do with him. Um, so there's that, and then there's like I said, there's a few times where they try to make us have some kind of emotion with him. Just not sure what, but they're trying to make him sympathetic, and like the pseudo girlfriend that is into him, but they haven't really gone anywhere relationship wise, and he's kind of a dick to her, um, which is sad, honestly, because like I actually thought that her character was going to turn into something, and she winds up being the first victim of the main cast.
yeah, I was like, I kind of liked her. She was, strong headed and smart and, the smart ass. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and you can clearly tell that she cares about Burton. And, every time that he takes a drink of alcohol, she's giving him this look like, are you serious right now?
Mm-hmm.
Like she's trying to take care of him.
Yeah.
And the moment that they kind of figure out, oh, hey, we both have feelings for each other, we should probably work on this. Um, the next morning, she dies. So, I mean,
Goes out for a morning run by the beach and is promptly murdered. Um,
which is one way
which,
to get rid of the competition.
no, it really is. I'll give you that. Oh, that's something I wanted to talk about because this actually threw me at first because I didn't understand. Or no, I had a false assumption.
Okay.
This movie gave me a false assumption. So she dies, right?
Yes.
Okay. I assumed that what happened was that um, the 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 creature had taken her form. Like I thought this thing was a shapeshifter, and I was like, "Oh, now this is a cool idea," because like, okay, so we see the monster first, and at the beginning of the movie, and then gets uh, kills some random person, and then then we see our you know assistant girl.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it's not Abby. Abby is our villainous.
Sandy, I think her name was.
Sandy, was that it? Yeah. And she's out for the stroll, and then it does a POV shot, and then it shows the and like she gets ripped 9 ways to Sunday, and then screams. Apparently, they've never been hurt before, so they don't know how this happens. You get slashed the first time and you scream, is typically how it happens, not the last time. Um, but then it shows Abby coming out of the water completely naked. Thank goodness it's a far off shot and not a close up shot. They didn't do like a half bust thing where it's like a like collarbone height, and she's just kind of smirking ominously as she walks back into town. And because of that, I actually assumed that this creature was a shapeshifter. And it wasn't until a little bit later that I realized, no, she's not a shapeshifter. This is her. This is the monster.
Mm-hmm.
So props on that one. I got a little bit confused on that one, but I did enjoy the fact that they got me.
Honestly, I think that if they had added a shape shifting element to it, I don't know. Like, I don't know if it would make it more convoluted or if it would make it better.
Oh, I mean, they already referenced an octopus. So,
That's true.
I imagine that they reference an octopus and a shark, and then you have mermaids. But like the whole thing is that the mermaids can. The whole thing is that the mermaids are like the sirens. You know, they're just trying to lure a mate. So they take on the identity of something that the mate would be attracted to. So I thought that that would be really interesting if it had latched on and to this form to get closer to its target. You know, that was where my brain was going with it. Is that we're going to have a creature that is going to shapeshift into different forms, trying to lure the our hero into a bit of peril, and
Mm-hmm.
it never happened
Yeah.
because obviously the shapeshifter. But I thought that would have been really.
Can I just say, you say the word sirens. Did
Mhm.
did you notice how they pronounce that word the one time it comes up?
Uh, Sirens,
Sirens.
sirens, yeah,
I legit I paused the movie. I went to a couple of people. I'm like, say this word for me, and they said it, and I'm like, okay, that's not how that's. I'm not losing my mind here.
yeah. No, you're not losing your mind. Uh, yeah, interesting, very very interesting. And the fact that they combine siren and mermaid together, the same creature,
Yeah,
and then don't use either bit of lore between siren and mermaid, because like in real lore, kids are supposed to be bad omens. They're supposed to be, hey, if you hear one singing or you see one, it's supposed to mean that a storm is coming and that someone's going to die. Typically, it's because you fall overboard.
yeah.
But you know, that's how a mermaid works. And then a siren becomes this beautiful woman and it
L-
sings to you, and you're supposed to be almost hypnotized by it, and you run your boat aground, fall in the water, and then she eats you.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't go that with either direct. They didn't go either direction with that. Like again, they referenced the fact that hey, you're back home, the band's back together, yay! And then they just sang a bunch of sea shanties, and that was it. That was the extent of it.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
Yeah. So that was disappointing to say the least.
Yeah. I just I didn't have high hopes for this movie going into it. I really didn't. Like as soon as I read the synopsis for it, I'm like, okay, this is going to be bad. There's no way this is going to be a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
I just wish I had been wrong because it does sound interesting if you just read the synopsis of it.
Well, okay, let's think about the title of the movie. Bad Fish.
Yeah.
Huh? Okay, interesting. What kind of
What
bad fish? And it immediately made me think it was going to be a shark. Like
say?
legit, I did not think it was going to be a creature from the Black Lagoon kind of movie. I thought that we were going to have sharks.
I was thinking more of like the piranha movies. I was thinking it was going to go
Yeah,
that route.
yeah, I could get that. I could go that way with it. Like I understood that. Um, you know, maybe it's a whole swarm of them, and they're terrorizing, etc. Like they're eating up all the like they eat all the fish and the food in the area, and then they go somewhere else, and
Mm-hmm.
like locusts, but they're underwater locusts. That'd be
Yeah.
kind of an interesting idea. But yeah, no, this was not at any point in time did I go, ah, yes, mermaid, the bad fish.
Well,
You know,
even if you look at the this movie's on Tubi, by the way. If you look
Mhm.
at the cover art, the poster that they put for the movie on Tubi, it's not giving mermaid because
no,
because it's basically what it's showing is a fin or like a hand of some sort. And what I'm assuming is a lizard esque tail diving into the water.
Yeah, during like a dark and stormy night kind of
Yeah.
thing. And we never had a storm in this movie. We had a lot
No,
of nighttime scenes, but we never had a storm.
I wanted a storm. A storm would have been
Right.
cool. Just,
Again, go back to the mermaid logic. It's like,
yeah.
hey, they're spawning because they have this. There's this thing where it's, hey, it's spawning season. They come out during the thunderstorms because maybe they can't survive on land very long, so they need to be hydrated. So they come out when it's wet.
Yeah. Something like that. Do that. Remake the movie and do that.
Uh, Sorry, folks. Technical issues. My microphone died. Speaking of which, you can hear me a lot better now. I actually had some people in the comments that help me out on figuring out like what was wrong with the audio on the first episode. We're gonna have a few episodes that are gonna kind of have wonky audio, just because they were pre-recorded. But generally speaking, we're course correcting. We figured out the issue, so other episodes will not be this bad. So or as bad as last time.
But that's what
But anyway,
pilots are for.
yeah, it's a learning process. It's only episode like what, 2? Yeah,
Yes.
so we're fine. Anyway, but yeah, no, so yeah, no, I can get behind that. Make the movie like that, like you said. But I actually watched this movie twice. I cheated a little bit, and I watched it twice. The second time I watched it with subtitles, and whenever Abby, as her monster form, goes and eats the fisherman, on the subtitles, whenever she comes up to him and then starts chewing down on him, and then it does the weird flashes of light. Do you remember seeing that?
Yeah.
Okay, on the subtitles, it says that it's thunder. But it's the only time in the movie that happens.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But thunder makes noise.
Yeah. Thunder makes noise, not flashes of light, for one. And for two, why is this the only time it happens? She's not getting into the electrical work. In fact, I actually thought I heard a gunshot go off at one point whenever she's chowing down on him,
Not
thinking
only
that, oh, hey, somebody's coming to her rescue, is going to shoot her or whatever. No, it never happened. None of that ever happened. It was so confusing.
Yeah, no, I remember a gunshot going off, and I thought that somebody had shot her, and then it started flashing red, and that's not thunder or lightning.
Yeah. And she showed up later and she's fine, like
Yeah.
completely fine. So, hey,
They couldn't find the stock sound for thunder. They had to use a gunshot, I guess.
either that or they had one of the Baldwin boys that decided he got mad at camera.
Like it's just this movie is just oh.
All over the place, and
It
none of it
is.
good. Like, it has a really nice premise. I just think that it was horribly done. I don't think it was done in the proper way to execute it. Like, I understand, low budget, you could only do so much. I do get that. I just feel like this was not the proper way to do that.
It was all over the place. It was a mockery of mermaid and siren lore.
Mm-hmm.
And it just like sure the camera they used was good, like it was a crisp camera, it looked good, but that can only carry you so much. Like the acting
Yeah.
was very stiff in a
It was
lot of
very
places.
stale, and in some cases was very subpar.
Yeah, in a lot of places.
You know, like I made the joke, where are the actors? But it like in a few scenes, yeah, no, seriously, where the hell are the actors? You know, so I get it. I do get it. And I've seen movies that are just as stiff. You know, so like the movie has potential. Unfortunately, it's unrealized potential at every stage of shooting. The
Yeah.
audio is horrible in the sense of the stock footage aspect, like the reliance on stock footage. Like, honestly, if they had shot this entire film with with the idea of let's make a comedy, add the stock footage,
Mm.
add the audio, add these things in, give me the wooden acting, give me all these things if you're going to do it as a comedy. But the fact that in 2024 you thought that this was going to induce fright, I'm sorry, but I think you've missed your mark.
Yeah, it doesn't induce fright. It induces uncomfortable feelings in me because, like I said, she just fucking drugs him up and is like, "Okay, you're men now."
Yeah.
Doesn't it does
Not
not
only
matter.
mine, but you're saying mine.
It does not matter the gender roles. If you drug someone and you just be like, "Okay, you're mine now," uncomfortable, instantly uncomfortable, because like that's just ew, brother, ew.
Yeah. And apparently the whole thing is that she's just going to sit there and spawn with him for the next 10 years. And
Yeah.
then what? Does she have to go back after that? Does what happens to him?
That's
Like,
another thing. Okay, so her mother was a mermaid, her father was a human, right? They have been
yeah.
obviously alive for quite some time. They're older. They're the older generation. As soon as she claims the main character as her mate, her mom and dad die. They
Yep.
show their tombstones. So, like, what the fuck? Were they just waiting for her to get hitched? Like,
Apparently so.
no, there's no explanation. They just show the tombstones with their names on it, and that's it.
Yeah. Like, I don't get it. Is this movie trying to be scientific, science fiction, whatever? Is it trying to be mystical? Like, what is going on? Is it science trying to explain mysticism? Like, is it just outright no? This is how the biology works. What is this? Why are they here? What is like? There's so many questions that I have every stage of production.
I
And
think.
this isn't even like the damn. This isn't even like something akin to um, what was it? Silent Hornets. What was the
Oh, the
uh, uh,
Slenderman movie?
yeah, Silent Hornets, Chalk Hornets. What was the? I don't even remember what the hell it was called. Something
Marble Hornets.
Marble Hornets. Thank you. It's not even like Marble Hornets where, like, Marble Hornets. We watched the Marble Hornets thing, and it's like, oh, this is only like a draft or two away from being a good movie. This was like borderline first draft, maybe second draft material.
I think
It
it
was
has.
not.
I think it has everything to do with also the director. I mean, you put this type of synopsis in the hands of a well-established director who knows what they're doing. 10 to 1,
Mhm.
you are going to get a good movie out of it. It may be shit in some places, but he's going to know what to do with it.
Yeah. And the gentleman in question, his name is Brad Douglas. He's our director, and he's done a few movies, um, but none of them that are really noteworthy for us. Um, he's done a movie called Bent. He's done a movie called The Plan. Um, he's done uh Besetment and Between the Trees. Like, he's been doing stuff since 2009. So, like, clearly,
He has
you know,
experience.
yeah, he has experience. But if this is his newest film and he thought good enough about this film to do a part two, um, I fear to watch the other films in his original.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that being said, it could have all he's a Citizen Kane kind of thing, and his earliest film is actually his masterpiece, and everything else after that is a situation of, well, it's all downhill after this. Maybe he's that. I don't know, but I'm a little afeared. I'm a little bit afeared for my life when it comes to watching more from this director. I'm not going to say that he's Ed Wood, because at least the Ed Wood films have, like, they're so bad that they're charming. this didn't even really have much charm.
It really didn't.
So
Like you get
I
the
don't know what to do with this.
like you get the so bad they're good genre of movies. Like
Yeah,
but this
love
was
those.
yeah, no, they're great. They're fantastic because they are so bad that you can't help but love them. You know, like
Mhm.
they're comedic. They're funny to watch. They're not necessarily what the genre they were made in, but you know, um, so obviously like there are times where a bad movie can actually be viewed as good. Like a lot of cult classics at the time that they re-released were thought of as bad. And then as time went on, they just got more popular. This isn't one of them.
Mm-mm. No, it's not. It's really not. It's oof worthy.
This is very oof worthy. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
no, this was a bad one. All right, and I'm going to let you know this was terrible.
Listen. I had to start off with a really bad movie so that way the next movie that I show you can be a good comparison of what a good movie is.
Sure, that's your excuse.
Listen, you wanted a fish movie. I gave you a fish movie. You didn't tell me the parameters of it. You just said it had to be a
Yep.
fish.
Okay, all right, fine, fine. I got I got a bad one. I got a real bad one for you. I'm gonna punish you for this film specifically.
Damn it.
Yes. Our next film is going to be The Bog.
The Bog.
The Bog, 1970s. Uh, it is a ultra low budget film. It is shot with a looks like it was shot with a VHS camera. Features some sort of aquatic amphibious menace and is so stilted in its acting that you might actually think that Skip was competently played. So, my grits, you may kiss them.
Your what?
My grits, kiss my grits. Kiss my grits. Kiss my grits. No,
Ah.
it's a polite way of saying kiss my bum.
Help, I need an adult.
You are the adult, Anita.
I need an adult, dear adult.
I'm here.
Damn it.
But yeah, no, it's the next film we're gonna do. Honestly, I was caught between between The Bog and Attack of the Giant Leeches, and so I'm thinking that we do The Bog. It's a movie that I has just as questionable of science and weirdness, and you're not really sure what it's trying to do. And that's as much as I'm going to tell you until we watch the movie.
Okay,
So there
wait.
you go.
Wait. It was between this and the Attack of the Giant Leeches. Is it on par or worse than Giant Leeches? Because we've seen that movie.
Yes, we've seen that movie. Admittedly, we've seen that one. In fact, that was one of the movies that we started watching that made us go, God, we need somebody to talk to about this shit.
Yeah.
Uh, it is. Uh, would you say Attack of the Giant Leeches was a good movie?
No.
Would you say that you would like to watch it again if you watched it with Mystery Science Theater attached?
Yes.
Okay. I don't think Mystery Science Theater can help this one.
Oh no.
So yeah, there you go. Now, granted, folks, if y'all don't know how we do this, typically how we do it is that we'll do our own little private watch party. And if it's a bad movie, we're sitting here riffing it the entire time, just like the MST guys. And that might be something that we actually do from time to time, is do like a live watch party with our commentary over it, because that would be grand. This is one of those movies that it is, ooh boy, rough. And Bad Fish is an apt example of ooh boy, rough. This was a hard one for me to get through. I'll be honest with you.
Not gonna lie,
I
I had to pause the movie a couple times and walk away just to like get a palate cleanser.
no, I kind of had to as well. This is one of the few movies that we've done thus far that um, we both had to watch in small doses. We didn't
Yeah.
watch it together. We actually watched the movie separately, and it was small doses. I kind of
Mm.
had to do similar where it was okay, pause, or again, that's why I had to watch it twice. It's that I feel like maybe if I had watched it a second time, I would have liked it a little bit better. And if anything, it made me hate the film more. Like I did not enjoy this film to the point where I genuinely was like, why am I watching this again? Why am I doing this? So
I applaud you for going through it a second time. I really do.
I tried to find good stuff about it. I really did. And again, the plot is not bad. It's the execution that's atrocious. Like, oh, like I think I understand what you're trying to do. But why is it this?
Hmm.
So I'm not happy with this. This one was terrible.
You're welcome. I have set the bar. The bar is low. This should help us.
You think? I think the bog will beat it.
Oh.
uh, pause for a second. How much? What's our time look like?
We're at 106 right now.
That's not terrible. You want to go ahead and get to a wrap up spot?
Yeah, we can do our closing statements.
Okay. All right, then I'll let you do a countdown. And do you want me to do starting closing statements, or do you want you to do?
I'll start it.
I'll do a countdown, and I'll let you start.
All right, sounds good.
3.
All right, so final thoughts. I say throw. I say honestly. I say throw it in the ocean and never look back.
The first time we get a 0 twist.
We
No.
might. We might.
Uh, episode 1 got like damn near 5 perfect tombstones. Episode 2 was such hot garbage that we never looked back. Um, yeah, no, it was a bad one. It really was.
Mm.
Um, if you had, what was a good thing about the movie? Can you name at least one good thing about the movie?
They took the time to trial and error.
Yeah, to actually see if they could solve it without jumping to mermaids.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. Um, they didn't rush it. They let it do its natural progression, and then they shot it in the foot.
Yes, they did. Hard. Okay. All right. I'm trying to think what would be a upside for me. The film surprised me by showing me in a cartoon halfway through the film.
I was just about to say in a good way, or
No, because like I said, I actually thought we were going to get shapeshifters, and then I thought, oh, okay, well then we get something with this, uh, the at first I thought we were gonna have really two really nice female leads, and then they killed one. And then I was like, oh cool, we're gonna get shapeshifters, and then we didn't get shapeshifters, and then I thought we were gonna wind up getting like some deep lore explanation for like what all happened 10 years ago, and then like this is this other, and we didn't even get that, and then we got an animation sequence, and then like it kept me surprised in a way that I was not expecting to be surprised.
mm-hmm.
I don't think it was worth it, but it did surprise me. So that's my good take. My solid good thing about the movie is that it surprised me. I wish it hadn't.
I wish I could remove it from my eyeballs. Okay.
So yeah, so that's my opinion on that one.
So out of
Uh,
5 tombstones,
Oh man. Okay, so with Creature from the Black Lagoon, out of all 1950s dumb sci-fi, and that includes some heavy hitters such as Godzilla and The Incredible Shrinking Man and Creature from the Black Lagoon. I do think that Creature from the Black Lagoon was a solid five. If you take it into of all time, um, then I want to say that this was that Creature Lagoon was a 4.5, and then if you go into Bad Fish, it is the exact same thing but in reverse. I think that this film was so egregious that you could have done virtually anything and it would have been better. I want to give this film a like 1.5, maybe two.
That
Uh,
that's
and
actually generous.
that's only because it did the surprisey thing. Like, if I'm genuinely serious, I want to give this film a one. I want to give it a solid one tombstone. And just for the fact that it did have me guessing on what was going to happen next, I kind of want to bump it up to a half a tombstone.
All right, all right.
Like, I really want. I'm trying my best to like this one, and it's just not jiving for me. You know.
You know what? It happened. So,
But what about yourself? What would you rate from a scale of 1 to 5 tombstones?
I personally would probably give this a 1.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it earned it.
It did its best and it earned that 1 star. Uh
Ah,
it's just, there's so much, like you said, there's so much that could have been done that would have made it for the better. There's so many
mhm.
little things that could have been tweaked. This just it missed its mark.
Yep. No, I can agree. I think that it had potential to be something, and I think it tripped and fell.
And
I
again,
don't.
I don't want to place it all on the actors either. Like some of it's the director as well. Like you put this in the hands of a good director, you could probably come out with a semi decent film.
Uh-huh. No, and I can agree. I can agree, but like again, this felt like a first draft or maybe a second draft kind of a film. It didn't feel like a film that was, uh, a final product.
Yeah.
It just didn't. It
You know
just
what? This is a film school film.
oh yeah,
That
like
is
the
the
indie.
level.
Yeah, I have nothing else to do. Like I'm gonna get a bunch of kids together and film this, and yeah, this is a film school film.
That is the vibe. I have been trying since I watched this to explain the vibe that I'm getting. It is film school level of a film.
Yeah, I can understand that. I can totally get behind it. It's a film school film.
Yeah.
It is. This is someone who is working in the Bay Area or, somewhere that's, tentatively speaking close by to where they live. And they have gotten a bunch of their students together to go, hey, let's make a movie. And then they're just releasing it under his name.
Yeah.
Like it's like you have a newbie behind the camera, and the teacher, which in this case would be like the director,
Yeah.
is going, okay, Sammy, here's how you do this. Now this is called a this shot. Oh, this is called a this shot. Etc. And like he's kind of letting the kids film, and then he's more supervising than actually directing. That's kind of that's the vibe.
Yeah. I
That's the
was struggling
vibe.
so hard trying to think of it. That's what it is.
Uh huh. That would be it.
Yeah.
And then, of course, if I ever see this guy in real life and he goes, "Hey, you're insulted the heck out of my directing skills," I'm gonna look at it and I'll be honest. And, you know, Oh, what do you want from me? Because it was bad, dude. I'm sorry,
I
but
may
at the
have
very least, I'm giving it to you honest.
I,
Yeah, you shouldn't have let the kids have the camera.
I may have insulted your work, but you insulted my eyes.
Yeah, like things got retained that should not have been retained.
Yeah.
There you go. There's the trade-off. Oh, Lord. Okay, so Bad Fish. I think it's a unanimous one tombstone review. Um, do we do we dare to uh end this on a high note of any form or fashion, or are you more chomping at the bit to watch my revenge?
Oh, my high note is I'm definitely gonna make you watch the second one.
It's all right. I gotta. I I lucked out. Creature from Black Lagoon has a sequel as well, but it's a good. I'm gonna be nice to you about that.
Aw,
Um,
you do care.
well, only mildly.
I'll take it.
uh, well, that's a wrap for this episode of the Coffin Table Podcast. If you've enjoyed our deep dive into the dark, be sure to rate, review, and share.
Got a film for us to unearth? Let us know. Follow us on social media for more chills and thrills.
And until next time, stay spooky and don't look under the bed.